Within this barrio, since a lot of the neighborhoods, in particular the unincorporated ones, are oftentimes neglected by the city and kind of forgotten, members of these neighborhoods often lack the feeling of actually belonging to a community. So sometimes when this occurs, there's an attempt to create an actual space and kind of fill the void that is missing. So in these books, this creation of space comes from the formation of gangs. And there's an emphasis on the fact that, and in both novels, there's an emphasis on stating that these spaces are not created for the purpose of violence or not created for having power, but it's kind of just for protection and having that sense of belonging. I mean, they eventually take a very corrupt turn somewhere, but I thought it was really interesting how both of the authors really did kind of focus on that's not the purpose of it. So. In presenting so this challenging, so in challenging this, the authors, in a sense, challenged and begged for a critique of why exactly these spaces are being created. They urge the reader to go beyond just the surface or the stereotype and offer them pieces to deconstruct these situations. So this challenging occurs a lot with the setting of the barrio in the novels, not just in the creation of spaces, but as seen in Locas, in challenging gender roles and gender expectations. So as mentioned before, the character of Lucia is a very, very she's very power hungry, but she's very aware of the fact that in order to have power, she must take over the role of a man or somehow attain these manly qualities or macho qualities, I guess. So it's it's a world that is really, really resistant to women. And there's a quote where she says something whenever she would try to approach her boyfriend, I want to, hey, can I listen in? Or she would automatically be kicked out, you can't be here, you're a woman, go make me a sandwich or go do something else. But despite this, Lucia first challenges this notion by attaining this power by dressing like a chola, which I thought it was really interesting because, I mean, we see cholas or we see this whole culture of the barrio, and we don't really think about this, but there's mention in this book how women in the gang life are supposed to be arm candy and that's it, just have babies and just do that. But Lucia talks about how even dressing in khakis and wearing lip liner and looking tough, that's a really, really big thing for them because they're not being feminine, and that's a really huge gender crossing. And so she does that, and she eventually forms her own gang, and she kind of recruits girls, and in the end she ends up being really successful in this by creating this space. And she's really smart, which is really cool because I don't know, I feel like she's a badass, so it's really cool. But so yeah, she crosses these boundaries. So Ixta Maya Murray presents this whole thing there's all these challenges as brown people and as underrepresented people, but at the same time, when it comes to women, we do have our own challenges. And just the fact that she kind of poses this as an actual thing, I thought it was pretty amazing. And okay. So in conclusion, both Ixta Maya Murray and Rodriguez provide the reader with not just novels whose settings is the urban landscape of the barrio, but with protagonists who are very much aware of their surroundings and the fact that they are low-income people of color. The mobility and challenging between physical and social boundaries and territories serve as the author's critique of discrimination of people in these communities, discrimination that people in these communities go through. By providing novels with protagonists that are very much aware of their restrictions and their limitations, they are providing the reader with an example of what happens when these barriers are challenged and crossed. So yeah, just quick acknowledgement. I'd like to thank you all for being here, first of all, and I'd like to go through thank my mentor Christine Hong, who's currently in China or somewhere, but she's probably watching this on YouTube in the future. Thank you, Christine, for your unconditional support during this process and for being so engaged with my project and my career. I'd also like to thank my fellow FMP peers, our two great professors that led us through this journey, Angelica Lopez and Robin King, the EOP staff for their support, my friends, and last but not least, my parents and my brother for being here today.